Joining me now from Washington, D.C., president of Judicial Watch and Daily Ledger contributor Tom Fitton. Tom, the president tweeted about this, about the mail-in ballots, and his frustration is pouring out on Twitter. He says this: there is no way, zero, that mail-in ballots will be anything less than substantially fraudulent. Mailboxes will be robbed, ballots will be forged, and even illegally printed out and fraudulently signed. The governor of California is sending ballots to millions of people. Anyone living in the state, no matter who they are or how they got there, will get one. That will be followed up with professionals telling all of these people, many of whom have never even thought of voting before, how and for whom to vote. This will be a rigged election, no way. So it opens the door. It obliterates the need for voter ID, right? Why do you need a voter ID when you're sitting at a kitchen table at home filling out and you're an illegal alien? It obliterates any of that. Illegal aliens are going to vote. There's going to be massive and rampant voter fraud. The president is dead on target.
Yeah, he's certainly right. He certainly is right. And in California, they don't have the controls in place even to conduct mail-in balloting. You know, I know there are other states that do it. But California, they aren't there yet. Even if it was good policy, they don't have the basics in place because the counties that the governor is ordering mail the ballots don't have the systems in place. So not only is it unlawful in California, meaning the state already has a rule in place, he's just overriding it. It's unconstitutional because the only changes to election law like this can only take place with the permission of the legislature, which hasn't granted it to the governor. So this is a power grab by the governor. He's going to flood the system with 20 million ballots. Judicial Watch separately has a lawsuit. Los Angeles County, for instance, has settled with our Judicial Watch. With Judicial Watch, they have they're going to be removing up to 1.6 million names, Graham, from the rolls over the next few years. So they have millions of extra names in the rolls that shouldn't be there. So there's a great concern you'll have 20 million ballots sloshing around the system. And the president's also referencing the ballot harvesting system in California, which is really unique in the nation as best as I can tell, because it allows virtually anyone to go and collect ballots. It's an open invitation to voter intimidation in addition to voter fraud and election fraud. This is going to invite voter fraud. It's going to invite chaos on election day as well because the system will be overwhelmed. California isn't set up to do this, but the left wants it done. It's a state-by-state battle. California, Nevada, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, and of course Pelosi's trying to ram it through Congress at a national level. It probably won't go anywhere in Congress, but our elections that are at risk. The coronavirus already has blown up the economy. We don't need it to blow up the elections.
Yeah, and you folks at Judicial Watch are suing California, as you've done in the past on this one. And your argument is pretty simple. You just touched on it a few seconds ago there. And that is, in the United States Constitution, it is up to the state legislatures, not a singular person, not a governor with slick back hair, to decide how a state ballots. And so he cannot do this by decree. It's a fairly simple argument that most people without a law degree can understand. The big however is you're pursuing this in the state of California, at least initially, and you never know how the judges are going to rule there. And we know the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, if it gets that far, the makeup has changed a little bit for the better, for the more constitutional side. But in the end, we're going to be relying on the third branch of government to decide something really that the framers of the Constitution had no intention of going into the third branch of government.
Well, this lawlessness by the governor is a challenge. I've never seen anything like it in terms of an attack on the constitutional provisions related to elections. As I said, 20 million ballots. We're representing, our lawyers are voters and a candidate, Darrell Issa, the congressman, or former congressman who's running for office again.
Yep.
You know, voters are in danger of having their votes thrown out or even not counted under this system. So, you know, those who want more voters to vote and more people to participate in the elections, vote by mail isn't the way to do it. The most secure way to vote, Graham, is in person at a polling place. Anything short of that should be avoided. That's why absentee ballots traditionally have been for emergency type situations. You really can't get to the polling place. And vote by mail, even though I know people are concerned generally about the coronavirus, which I think is an overblown concern when it comes to elections. We still have to have our elections, and the best way to have elections are for people to go to the polling place. It's the best way to be sure that they're secure.